Right.
No.
Well,
Go on.
Well, that looks good, Lee.
no, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
No, it does. That wasn't sarcasm.
No, it doesn't.
You know when you like go down
wild.
to Cornwall and the wind's blowing and all the plants kind of go in one direction because of the prevailing wind from the southwest?
Yeah.
Prevailing wind.
2 words, mate.
What?
German shampoo.
Oh.
Anyway, right. Let's get going. It is sweltering hot. It is so hot we are all melting.
Yeah.
I hope everyone out there is enjoying the summer heat wave that we're getting slightly early.
No sign of it stopping.
No,
No,
it's
another
really
2 weeks,
good,
this.
isn't it?
Welcome to BDAchat podcast. Looking at my notes, it's podcast number 31. Wowzers, catching up. Almost, just 1 year older than me, or 1 episode older than me. Anyway,
Bring your birth certificate
this week
to the
we're
next
talking
podcast.
I don't know, it just popped in there. Numbers has been one of those days.
Laura from Long Island. Sorry, go on.
Oh yes, we're not going to go there. So this week, joining me this week on BDAchat, my brain is catching up. We've got Camilla,
Hi.
Rob, and David. David's back
Hello.
from his 2-week stay on Love Island. Yes, he's looking tanned and he's looking single.
Yeah, he doesn't. No one recoupled with him.
No one well, he's obviously back because no one recoupled.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Did you enjoy your stay on the island?
It was amazing, yeah.
See,
Obviously.
he's had a whale of a time. So David's back, and now we're going to talk this week. We thought we'd go into the topic of AI, artificial intelligence. And I'll be honest with you, I'm on the fence about AI. I'm not sure if I totally agree with it. So I'm going to be quite opposing to some of these comments. Or this
He's a non-believer.
I'm a little bit. I believe it in some aspects, but not in others. So who would like to delve into the realm that is artificial intelligence? Who wants to go first? Who wants to talk about AI?
Everyone looking at it.
Everyone's looking at them.
I'm not going to start with a heavy topic or anything like that. But this AI right now is a massive topic.
Yeah,
I think we start by saying it's had a tough rap, AI. I think Hollywood films from the 80s and 90s, such as The Terminator, we could have a Terminator meme here right now, I think have given AI a bit of a hard rap. There's all this panic about people are going to lose jobs. AI eventually is going to lead to the downfall of mankind. So I think some of this is feeding.
People are losing jobs, though.
This is some of the stuff that I might bring up.
The people are
I'm
losing.
afraid.
They are losing jobs, though, aren't they? Really?
Well, not yet.
Slowly. No, not really.
No.
Compared to the scared, what people think it's going to be like, I don't think it's a long way off that. But I think it's a long way off that. But
because you made a point about the post office, didn't you? The post office.
That wasn't me.
Oh, who made the point about the post office?
I was just saying, like, people think, AI is a new thing, but it's like, I don't want to go into timelines or anything, but back in the 50s.
Are you going to go into timelines?
Just really quickly, it started in the 50s, but from your local post office has had artificial intelligence reading written addresses on envelopes.
That was it.
For years. So there's been uses for years, and I'm sure we're going to cover a few probably in this chat. But I think there's a lot of like scaremongering around it. And I know, David, did you find some stats on jobs or anything like that?
I think it's interesting because we're all using artificial intelligence every day. And sometimes we might not even know it. Amazon use it to recommend books to us if we're using Audible, products if we're actually using their main website. Netflix do it.
Yep.
They change the covers dependent on the films that you've watched previously.
Yeah.
Spotify do it.
Spotify, Waze, the routing GPS type navigation app, it does it.
Yeah.
We're using it all every day, all the time. In fact, probably your sat-nav, your general sat-nav in your car is using it to reroute you depending on traffic information that is being sent to you. So we're using it every day and we're all getting loads of use out of it, but it's getting really clever. And I think that's the point, isn't it? It's not just a function to enable us to get somewhere quicker. It's actually going to start making decisions on our behalf for us. One stat I have got is that
we love a stat.
So Facebook can, so long as you have given it 300 interactions, i.e. likes or comments on posts, will be able to predict more accurately than your spouse what you are going to do next.
Well, you mean in terms of Facebook interaction?
Yeah, what you're going to like next, what you're going to comment on, what's going to be the type of information you're going to want to receive. So, that's why, the power of Facebook and some of the other kind of more scandalous things that have happened more recently with Facebook data You know, it is so powerful because all of a sudden you can start predicting results of things because you know what somebody's going to do.
Yeah.
Through the power of artificial intelligence or
kind of machine learning or deep learning techniques.
Do you know
Absolutely.
what? And this is really apt to what I found. There was, I don't know if anyone else saw this, there was surveillance cameras in Japan this week that basically record you. So you walk into a shop and it will record your body language. So it'll know if you pick up something and put it down somewhere else. It will know if you pick up something and you don't put it back down on the shelf. Because it will literally see your arm, shoulder, hand movement, and then it'll flag it to the shopkeeper. So it can identify theft through body motion. And it's little things like that. That's so clever. But that's going, hang on a minute, what you're doing is not what you should be doing.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really nice example of where it can actually come in useful. It's not too scary.
No.
And it's just a really helpful tool.
But if you think, you know, if we start looking at some of the bigger applications of it, you know, we talked about jobs.
Yeah.
And we talk about, say, for example, the medical industry, healthcare. IBM, Watson, you know, one of the areas that they're concentrating on is the ability to diagnose ill health.
Yeah.
You imagine you get to a point in history, in time where, and they're developing this now, and in fact, there was Babylon Health released something last week, where, and actually said that they reckon their app, their artificial intelligence, can be more accurate than a human GP at diagnosing
I think
an
it was like
illness.
70% more accurate.
It was something like that.
Yeah.
You know, but if you take that and you take that onto a really grand scale with IBM Watson and what they're doing there, and some of the stats that they're getting, where, you know, for example, what IBM Watson can do, where you've got a human doctor can see the information it's got on the screen. It's not going to remember everything about your medical history. It's not going to know everything about, he or she is not going to know everything about your family, your cousins, the medication that you're on at the moment, etc., etc. And they're not going to know everything about every drug, every new piece of medical research that's been done. They just can't know all of that. However, a computer can. It can look up all of that information in a fraction of a second. It can know all the up-to-date medical research, all the latest drugs, what you're on at the moment, what you should not be taking with something else, etc., etc. It can also look at what's going on in the wider world on Google, or in people, you know, if you look at Google, what they're doing with their emails, where they're actually reading your emails and then they're giving you a suggested response to it. If you were to take that information in as well, you can start to understand, when combined with things like social media information about, you know, what are people saying they've got flu, etc., etc., you could build this massive picture of what's going on in the world, and in that one person's world, when you start drilling down and say, well, actually, maybe that's what that person's got. Because actually, there's lots of people in this area that are suffering with flu at the moment, or indeed they've got a history of, I don't know, stomach problems in their family. And that computer, that, you know, whichever one it is, in an instant, can make that diagnosis. And you imagine you take that into your home as well, where you could sit at home, and I know, you know, that's one of the features of some of the latest health apps that are coming out, where you can sit at home and you can talk to a doctor, and you can say, well, I've got this wrong with me, and so on and so forth, and then you know, that physical doctor can actually start prescribing you medication, or saying this is what I think is wrong with you, etc., etc.
Yeah.
But you could do that with artificial intelligence.
Yeah,
in the future.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, I think it offers that scalability, because you think about the health sector and you think about triage, you know, the amount of people going there for an early, not full diagnosis, but, you know, painting a picture of what you're going in with the condition. And that's where a lot of these kind of artificial intelligence powered chatbots, you know, like Babylon Health, have started, just to get literally ask those upfront questions to start to understand the issue, not to necessarily give you a huge diagnosis at this stage, but we're starting to see them get there now. And where artificial intelligence definitely, you know, is definitely flying, is the fact that as humans in this age of data and the Internet of Things, we can't process everything. You know, we need machines to kind of start to process this, look for trends, look for those relationships and those patterns that you spoke about there, be it demographical, family, whatever it may be, and start to bring those together to draw conclusions and make recommendations.
You might, when you've got the Internet of all things, When everyone's connected up and they're having their heart rate and how much they're perspiring, and if they've got a contact lens in, for example, that's just measuring the amount of sugar in their system, etc.
Ooh, sounds
You
good.
imagine you've got all that information which is being fed into somewhere, and all of a sudden, there is so much data available to make really accurate diagnoses about individuals or situations, or whether there's a pandemic or all sorts of other things which could possibly happen in the future. I think one of the interesting things about artificial intelligence, and this is all quite deep, is that if you think about history, humans have invented things to make our lives easier. You think there's agriculture,
Nice.
industry, and then there's the service industry as well. And all we've done over time is tried to make agriculture easier for us. So there's only 2% of people in America that are in agriculture, and then you've got the kind of industrial part of industry, where you're actually manufacturing something from the raw materials that are being created.
Yeah.
And there's the service industry. So there's about 22, something like that, percent in the sort of manufacturing industry, and then there's about 78%. I haven't got my maths quite right there. But
Don't worry, it's only a few percent.
all we're doing now by creating artificial intelligence, where we would stand apart from artificial intelligence, from the machines that we create, was we had brains that would allow us to come up with new ideas and do new things. But what are we doing now? We're creating artificial brains that are going to make decisions on our behalf. Google Duplex.
Yeah, Google Duplex.
Talking to, making reservations. and
John
stuff like that.
Legend is one of the voices
Is
of
he?
Google Duplex.
Have you seen Google Duplex?
John
No.
Yeah, so
Tell us about Google.
So
Duplex.
again, artificial intelligence, but they're using it so you can literally go, Google, can you book me a table tonight at my favourite restaurant? What time
At
would you
7
like?
p.m, yeah.
At 7 p.m. So it then makes the phone call for you. And there's a tremendous video, we must share this link,
Yeah.
of it actually being demoed,
Yeah.
of it having a one-to-one human conversation with a real person on the end of the phone. And this is a
They
computer
use
doing
words
it.
like and
Yeah.
pauses,
And
so
great.
it seems quite real. It sounds real. It doesn't sound like a robot, actually. So there's lots of clapping at the keynote kind of presentation. You can
It's
imagine
very
what it's
clever.
like.
It's quite stunning,
It's
and
very
they've
clever.
focused, I think, on 3 areas at the moment that are in development. It is that booking a table, getting your hair cut, and there's some other appointments that it's trying to make.
Shopping opening times.
Yeah, so literally, again, when you see it in action, it's kind of like, is this real? Because it's quite
brilliant,
surprising, and
yeah.
it is brilliant. And you could argue, is it going to make us all lazy? But that's been the evolution of man. When building things that make our lives a bit simpler.
But their stance is, assistant is basically making phone calls. It's all those things you haven't got time to do, and that's making phone calls that you don't have time to make. So that's why they're trying to train them up on making those phone calls to a restaurant or listen to this video, because it is really cool.
Yeah.
I think they've really kind of knocked it out the park. I played with an app this week, and it was a perfect squat challenge app.
Okay.
Don't laugh. It's the first fitness AI app that's launched, and it launched this week.
Oh, I thought it was like a rival to Airbnb, where you could literally go and find somewhere to squat in for the night.
Yeah, it's a good
For free.
This is the spot. No. But it's very good. So it literally has a camera in it. Your phone obviously has the camera, and it films your body and the structure where your shoulders are, your hips are, your toes are, and it will take you through the process of a perfect squat, as an example. It would only count the one, so it trains you. Says no, your shoulders need to be back, your waist needs to be down. You need to drop your tailbone. All of this, it's really clever, and then it counts it and it sends it to your friend. Now that's just a bit of fun, but what they want to do is they want to use it to identify back problems, for example. So things to take pressure off the health service
Well, this could help you out, David.
through AI, and it's the start of some
Yeah.
of these things. And obviously I've played with Babylon Health before. I actually had a little go on it this week, and it was great. It got where it couldn't answer my questions, it got somebody to answer me back in 10 minutes. So a human stepped in at that point and answered back. But it was a good experience. It saved me from calling whatever that number is now. 111
Yeah.
144. I don't know.
11111. Yeah, 111.
Triple
Yeah.
one.
Or whatever
No,
it's
not.
changed
I don't think
to.
it is. I don't know. Whatever it is.
Whatever
that's-
it is.
Whatever it is. But yeah, I thought that was really cool. But I just like the thought of these fun apps at the moment actually turning into something that could really benefit.
And I think that's a really good point, because there is this fear of, it takes, you don't need a human to do that anymore. But for instance, in the insurance industry where chatbots, AI-powered chatbots are becoming quite prevalent, you can literally get your insurance policy within 90 seconds using, I think there's a company called Lemonade out there. They're only operating in New York at the moment. Lemonade, you can get your insurance in 90 seconds. You can make a claim in under 3 minutes. Now, that's great. Now, you would say, well, that's taken away from humans doing it, but it's not. What they're actually doing is it's a freeing up human resource at the company to concentrate on services like consultancy, services like actually risk assessment and risk management. So again, it's opened up other areas that can be controlled and automated and processed quickly, but freeing up workforce and HR to concentrate on areas that are more preventative as well. So again, there is a balance to this argument. Yeah. I mean, Lee, how do you feel about chatting to a chatbot?
He doesn't like it. This is Lee.
I had to ask him because I saw his face dropping.
Did his eyes glaze over?
Yeah.
The other day I had to.
I knew a story was coming.
I had to send an email to a client, and I started typing the email, and I thought, I can't know. I just picked the phone up. I just phoned him, because to me, personal interaction, I guess that's the wrong, because from what you're talking about, this is just like mundane day-to-day things that you're trying to sort out, rather than,
difficult conversations.
Yeah. So I get that, and I'm probably using more AI than I know, but for me, it's kind of like, I suppose it's that generation thing, in that I wouldn't get into a car that would be self-drive. I wouldn't do that.
Why?
Because I can drive a car. And if anything was to happen, I'd rather it be my
more
responsibility
of a safety thing
than a computer. Plus, I wouldn't. But if you look at it like, I don't know, my in-laws, they wouldn't do online banking. They would never go anywhere near online banking because they're convinced that their account will be hacked.
Oh, it's black magic, that online banking.
Yeah, they struggle to put a credit card into Amazon. So, and my kids will probably get into self-driverless cars, self-drive cars.
Yeah.
They will probably do all that stuff, and they will be using it because they know no different.
Yeah.
Like they would have never gone to see a doctor, because by that stage a doctor wouldn't exist because of all this, because of the advances in AI. So it's the crossover. It's that where you are in your stage when all this technology advances. And if you're caught mid sort of, for me, it's just like, I just find it a bit sad. I find it sad that people don't have time to pick up the phone and make a phone call to reserve a table. What is so important in your life that you just can't have a couple of seconds.
Such an old romantic.
But I just find why do we have to say goodbye to so many things just because we want someone else to do it for us?
But the doctor thing's helpful.
The doctor thing is helpful. Don't get me wrong.
Because you don't want to be in a waiting room. You'd
rather
just go quickly. Let me suss it out first.
Yeah, but then you're always going to be. So hang on. So a computer has told me to take these pills. Do I take these pills?
Yours is a trust thing.
Would I rather go to the doctor that I know that we go to every time we have a problem in the family? We go see our family doctor. It's the same chap, Dr. Kedwood. Hiya, Dr. Kedwood. and he has helped us out in so many different scenarios where we've gone to try my wife and goes, no, go see Dr. Kedwood. He'll sort you out. And he does.
Yeah, but can I put a counterpoint against that?
Yeah.
Right. So. In 2011, in San Francisco, there was a pharmacy that was created, and the pharmacy was manned by a robot. And over the course of a year, it prescribed 2 million prescriptions because it had access to everybody's medical records. It knew the latest research. It could cross-reference everything. And over those 2 million prescriptions, didn't make one mistake. A human pharmacist, on average, there will be 1.7% of the prescriptions that they make will be incorrect.
He knows his stats.
So, so I'm using a US stat again. That means that 50 million people in the US would have been given the wrong prescription. So all of a sudden you start seeing the power of artificial intelligence and making sure that we're actually being given the right things, where a human can get tired, they can get hungry, they can make bad decisions, they can feel stressed, they can have other things going on in their lives which affect the decision making. Whereas a computer doesn't feel any of those things. It just does the job that it's been programmed to do.
Yeah.
Like sent back through time.
But,
You're right.
but I'd still rather have. I know.
And that's fine.
Sarah Connor.
You know, and I think that the point is that that's fine. But
Sarah Connor.
These things are getting so clever that there was another piece. There was a piece of research done by a couple of Oxford researchers on the future of employment, and by 2033, so 20 years time, ish, whatever it is now, they reckon that one of the areas, there's a 99% possibility that insurance underwriters and telemarketing people will lose there won't be a job for them. Another one is, sports referees. They reckon there's a 98% chance that they won't be required either.
Most of them are rubbish anyway.
Given your example about the camera, the shoplifting type camera, the squat thing, why would you need an actual human to watch that when they can watch things much better?
Training, you just get
chefs, 96% chance that they could be replaced. The one that's least likely is archaeologists, which is about
that's what I wanted to be when I was a kid. That was the job that I wanted to do.
There's so much fine programming that's involved, and actually the commercial return that somebody can get from being or doing archaeology is limited. So people aren't going to invest in it.
Go back into being an archaeologist.
Nothing is safe.
No.
We're all doomed.
Nothing is safe. Like music, for example, you'd think you can't copy Bach or you can't copy Beethoven, but computers can. They learn all this stuff. Bear with me a second.
When you look at those examples,
there was a study done, and I'm just trying to find it in my notes. I do apologise for this. Whereby there was a company called...
you need a computer for your notes.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, just a little earphone just telling you what to say.
Because I can't find it on my notes now because I want to make sure I get it right. Forget it. I can't see it on here now.
Going to be an F1.
Basically, there was a computer that created some music. There was original Bach music, and there was a musicology or something like that professor.
Yeah.
From Oregon,
well, they had to listen
like
to each one,
and they got some expert musicians to come in and listen to the music created by each of these people, and they had to vote at the end to see who was who. And actually, because there is this argument that how can a computer be human and emotional and all of that stuff, how can a computer create something like that? Well, actually, it turned out that the people in that audience thought that the computer version of it, which it was a company called EMI, I'm just trying to remember what the acronym stood for, was the one that was felt to be most like Bach, or to be Bach's music itself. You know, and that says something, that actually you can create music which people feel something for. It's got that humanness about it. So you take that onto what we do, web design, or creative. Ultimately, a computer will be able to do it because they'll know what's working, what colours should be used, etc., and where things should be placed.
There's just a really quick example.
Sorry.
No, and it's a really quick. There's a quick example of that. Google again. Google DeepMind. They created AlphaGo, and AlphaGo. I don't know if you know about the ancient Chinese game of Go. And I know that it's basically a board game. It's a board game. And, computers beating people at board games is nothing new. Now, most of these games that computers ever won at are
that's kind of when it started, wasn't it, with chess?
So chess, Gary Kasparov, 1996.
Yeah, and Deep Blue or whatever. Deep Blue. So again... but chess is a game of logic. There's only so many moves you can make, and it used to brute force it. AI would brute force it and go, how many possible scenarios is there possible on a chessboard? So it would know them all, so it could predict the next move, predict what would happen, and quickly reevaluate. But Go, you can't do it. It's an intuitive game. It's very human. It's there's a lot of thinking away from just... I think all the sequences are more than all the atoms in the universe, so all the possible sequences of moves you can make. Really? But this computer beat the world champion 4 times to 1.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it was showing that actually all they did was they fed it like 300,000 board games to begin with. Mm-hmm. They didn't program how to play this game and allowed it to learn. And literally, as it was playing, it was learning.
Cluedo.
And it was forming its own intuition. And that's and this is 10 decades earlier than they predicted. Sorry, 10 years, a decade earlier than they predicted. And that's the rate We're there. We're getting there now. We're so
cars
close.
And trucks.
Trucks.
Did you see that JFK thing for Cannes Lions? Obviously the year he got shot, I can't remember what year it was. He was assassinated in 60. Can't remember.
Yeah.
But he was on his way to a speech, a really big speech, and he obviously didn't get to deliver it. So what they did is they found 800 of his speeches, and they took his voice from 800 of the different speeches that he'd done. And it was really hard because some of them were outside, some of them were in big halls, some of them were in, so it was really difficult from an audio perspective to get it right. And they've used AI to kind of stitch it all together. And you hear the speech, and they played it to everyone who was going to the event to listen to him. Gave me goosebumps to listen to it. And they played them the speech that he was going to give. And the reaction, I've got goosebumps on my face now just talking about that.
You have?
Yeah, I know. You see him?
Do you need to get on speak to a chatbot doctor quickly and find out what that is?
I'll text them.
Yeah.
But yeah, stuff like that. I love stuff like that because there's something quite nice about that. It doesn't have to be scary stuff. It could. I think that was quite a nice example.
Rob, perhaps just to wrap up, because I think there's lots to talk about here. Is what about now? What is in store for our clients? What types of things can we expect to see?
Content at scale. So I think artificial intelligence will help businesses generate content at scale. And when you mentioned earlier, like we can run over artificial intelligence, use it without even realizing. They reckon like a vast percentage of particularly sports reports now are being created by artificial intelligence who monitor the game, the shots, and can process what's happening on the pitch, and they write the basis of the sports reports. So again, this is content at scale. How do businesses produce this content that's intelligent, etc.? And that's one area that artificial intelligence will help. It will have algorithms. It will collect information from so many sources, and it will be able to produce content with human sentiment. And I think that's one of the major areas. I think by 2020, they're predicting that 20% of content will be business content will be generated by artificial intelligence. I don't think that's a crazy stat. I think we're on the way to that now. And I think the biggest thing that businesses have to be harnessing right now when it comes to AI are chatbots. Because basically consumers want personal experience. They want that one-on-one when they've got a problem. Brands can't scale up enough to give every one of their customers that response, that support.
There's a fine balance. So I've used some really awful chatbots before, and they are terrible, and I've used really quite clever ones that have a bit more of a personality, that have, and I'm not talking funny, it's just the way they speak is more human, and you actually don't know on some of them whether that's a chatbot or whether that's a help centre, someone literally responding as a call centre kind of thing.
I'd rather just know.
You need to know.
I'd rather know if this is a chatbot or not.
First rule for me of artificial intelligence is be honest if you're a bot.
Yeah, if it's a bot.
That's what Google is saying, aren't they, with Duplex? Yeah. Like, do we introduce ourselves and say this is a bot?
Yeah.
And put that expectation straight away before people get frustrated with somebody they feel can't answer questions.
Yeah, you feel like you're being duped. That's what.
A bit of transparency around it.
But yeah, I think the chatbots is something that will allow businesses to free up HR and maybe reapportion that into other areas of the business where it needs that human touch, that creativity, that consultancy. But I think if you're going to do a chatbot, be honest, but also do it well. And make sure it gives the right answers, it's fluid, and it has enough different directions it can take the conversation in depending on what the answers are.
Well, how easy is it to implement chatbots?
It's not easy.
No.
It's not easy, but it's something, again, we're working on here at BDA. We're investing quite a lot of time, looking at the different platforms, IBM Watson, Google Cloud platform, etc. Where all this cognitive learning and artificial intelligence kind of resides, plugging into that, bringing that back to actually create, customer-side applications. This is where, again, in our innovation lab here at BDA, on our YouTube channel in the future, is going to have, experiments and things that we're experimenting with, and we're going to be showing the people, our viewers.
So engaging them with a chatbot?
Well, no, but showing them where we're experimenting and where we're taking it, and of course we'll be sharing that with our clients too.
Yes.
But yeah, it's a massive area for us: machine learning, artificial intelligence, and how we use that to kind of create better marketing campaigns, better customer services, better experiences.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
On that note,
Right.
I think that's done.
Yeah, my God.
So that's podcast 31. Thank you ever so much for tuning in. Please subscribe to our YouTube. What channel?
What channels have we got?
Yeah, which channels is it?
What channel have we got?
What social channels have we got?
Oh, what social? Well, you can subscribe on our YouTube page, or you can go to our Twitter page, or you can go to LinkedIn.
Twitter.
Anyway, on that note, peace out. I'm off to melt and get a glass of water because I am
melting
literally dripping. So until next week, we'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Amazing.
Get off. Podcast 31. It's a blank canvas.
It's a little bit of a rush today.
Yeah.
Artificial intelligence.